Hey, it's Chef Ball. Today we are going to teach you about the anatomy of a spare rib. So I'm going to break the spare rib down into four different pieces, and then we're going to make about 5 or 6 different recipes from this one spare rib. So the first thing you have to do with a spare rib, almost any rib, right, is get rid of this little piece of sinewy nastiness that you don't want to eat, right? So I'll show you. So right here, got this little piece of skin. It's called something, doctors call it something, I call it iwi. So it comes off with a little bit of effort, and you see, peel it right off and get that out of there. Because no matter how well you cook it, it's going to be tough if you don't get rid of this piece. So we're gonna yank this thing off and get it ready to go. One more piece, and this should do it. Bam, right? So now, in other episodes, we talked about having a sharp knife. This is when the sharp knife comes into play, all right? So, we're gonna actually take this down to what's called a St. Louis cut. There's really 2 types of spare or ribs on a pig. The spare rib and the baby back. And the baby back sits right above here, this part of the rib. And then the St. Louis cut, that's what we're gonna cut it down to, and then we're gonna use the rest of it for other recipes. First thing, we're gonna come right along the top of this bad boy and get off all this stuff. Now this is where the sharp knife comes into play. You gotta have a sharp knife that'll cut through a little bit of soft bone. And right here. So now, that's one piece, all right? This little flap of skin right here we want to get rid of. We'll say that for later, because that's some good stuff, right? That was good eating. We're gonna get rid of this. All right? So now, that's off, all right? So now what you have is your St. Louis cut. There's a little fat here, we do a little more trimming. Get rid of that, because we don't eat that. You know, but I don't mind a little fat, but we'll get rid of the excess so it doesn't get in the way later. All right? And right here, I'm gonna plop this into the bath it's going into later. And we'll get to that in a second, all right? So right now, we have this extra skin, this extra meat that we pulled off. We'll get to that in one more second. Put that over here. So here you have kind of like, I like to call it the knuckle, but this is where the ribs meet the back, the spine of the pig. So right about here, we'll get rid of that. So now this is pure meat and fat, and this is called the spine. I'm gonna break this down. We'll make a dish with this, and it's called a baby back buffalo wing ribs. So I like to call them knuckles, because a little bone, kind of weird, little funky knuckle. So we're gonna break this down and put this to the side for later. All right? So now we have this pure piece of meat right here. What I'm gonna do is get rid of some of the excess fat. Don't want that. All right? And we're gonna take this off. And now what I'm gonna do is dice this up into really thin pieces. We're gonna save that later for another dish, all right? And then this last piece, we're gonna save that for another dish. That is garbage. So, you've got some meat right here, pure meat. You got your St. Louis rib, and over here, your knuckles, all right? So stay tuned, watch the rest of the episodes. We're going to make about 5 or 6 different recipes with all this stuff right here. See you then.